tragedy of Akaza, from monster to man. In the hierarchy of demons, few command the respect and fear owed to Akaza, upper rank 3. He is the embodiment of martial perfection twisted into a weapon of nightmare. His combat style, the destructive death, is a brutal symphony of power and precision. He is the demon who defeated the flame Hashira, Kyojuro Rengoku, not just in battle, but in spirit, offering him an eternity of damnation as a final, cruel choice. Akaza lives by a brutal, simple code. Strength is everything, and weakness is a sin. He is the ultimate predator, who regenerates from any wound and savors the struggle of a strong opponent. Yet, this perfect killer has one glaring imperfection, a single unbreakable rule he follows without question. He refuses to eat or kill women. This rule is the first crack in the monster's facade. It is the thread that, when pulled, unravels the entire demon. This code is a ghost, a haunting memory from a life before the demon, a life that belonged to a young man named Hakuji. Hakuji's story begins not with a monster, but with a devoted son. He was just a boy, living in desperate poverty with his chronically ill father. Every day was a struggle, but Hakuji's spirit was fierce. He would do anything to help his father, even if it meant stealing. He endured brutal beatings from the authorities, his small body bearing the bruises and the shame, all while the criminal tattoos were etched into his skin as a permanent mark of his crimes. But he never complained. To him, every punishment was worth it if it meant his father could have another day of comfort, another dose of medicine. He would tell his father, "I'll be fine. I can take 100 beatings. Just please, get better." But his father saw the suffering he was causing. One day, hoping to free his son from this life of crime and pain, he took his own life. He left a final letter, begging Hakuji to please live an honest and good life. The world shattered. The boy who had fought so hard to protect someone was left with nothing to protect. His fierce love curdled into a bottomless, directionless rage. He was a storm with no shore to break against. Then, a miracle. A wandering martial arts master named Keizo found the violent, grieving boy. Instead of fear or disgust, Keizo saw the goodness buried deep within the anger. He saw a son who had loved his father too much. With unwavering kindness, Keizo offered him a home. He gave him a purpose, the disciplined art of the Soryu style. He taught Hakuji that true strength wasn't for stealing or hurting, it was for protecting. And then, there was Koyuki. Keizo's daughter was pale and frail, confined to her bed by a lingering illness, but her spirit was the opposite, gentle, warm, and resilient. At first, Hakuji was her fierce, silent guardian, using the techniques Keizo taught him to create medicine for her, to help her sit up, to make her smile. Slowly, the ice around his heart began to melt. Koyuki's laughter became the most beautiful sound he knew. Her quiet strength became his inspiration. The three of them became a family. The empty, aching space in Hakuji's heart began to fill with a new, profound love. He fell in love with Koyuki, and she with him. On a day filled with sunlight, she proposed to him, giving him a precious family heirloom as a promise. "I want to be strong," he vowed to her, his voice full of conviction, "so I can always, always protect you and Father Keizo." For the first time, Hakuji had a future. He had a father who believed in him, and a woman he loved more than life itself. He was going to be a husband. He was going to be a son who made his father proud. The world was no longer a place of pain, but of promise. And that is why the tragedy is so profound. Fate, it seems, cannot stand such happiness. While Hakuji was away, visiting the grave of his birth father to tell him of his new, honest life, a rival dojo, cowards who could never defeat Keizo and Hakuji in a fair fight, poisoned their well. Hakuji returned home. The dojo was silent. He found Keizo, lifeless. He found Koyuki, the love of his life, gone before he could even say goodbye. The future he had built, the family he had found, was wiped out in a single cowardly act of jealousy. The promise he made to protect them was shattered. The grief did not just break him, it unmade him. The Soryu style, created for protection, was twisted into a weapon of ultimate vengeance. In a blind rage, he became a force of nature, a storm of grief and fury, and slaughtered all 67 members of the rival dojo. He stood amidst the carnage, the most powerful fighter alive, and yet he had nothing left. No one to protect, no one to love. He was just a boy, screaming in a sea of bodies, utterly and completely broken. It was in this state of total ruin that Muzan Kibutsuji found him. To a man who had lost everything that gave his strength meaning, Muzan offered a new, hollow purpose, strength for its own sake, power without love, battle without purpose. And so, Hakuji died, and the demon Akaza was born, his beautiful memories locked away, the criminal tattoos spreading across his body as a symbol of his new, damned existence. Centuries later, in his final battle, that long-buried past erupted. As Tanjiro Kamado fought him with an unwavering will to protect, he reminded Akaza's soul of the man he used to be. When Tanjiro achieved the selfless state and beheaded him, Akaza's demon body fought to regenerate, but his spirit, now remembering Hakuji, refused. He saw Koyuki's face. He remembered his father's wish for him to be a good man. He saw the centuries of meaningless bloodshed and realized he had become the very kind of cowardly poison that had destroyed his own life. In his final, ultimate act of free will, the monster Akaza chose to die so that the man Hakuji could finally atone. He wasn't killed by a blade alone. He was defeated by the memory of a love so strong it reached across centuries to save him. His story is a devastating reminder that the most fearsome monsters are often born from the deepest love, and that even in the darkest heart, the memory of a promise made to protect someone can be the most powerful force of all.